Malcolm-Jamal Warner was born on August 18, 1970, in Jersey City, New Jersey, and grew up under the quiet guidance of his mother, Pamela, who also became his manager. Named in honor of Malcolm X and jazz pianist Ahmad Jamal, his upbringing emphasized creativity and education. By age 9, he was already showing promise as a performer, attending the professional children's school in New York City and landing his first role in a popular TV series. But it was in 1984, at just 13 years old, that he became a household name, cast as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. His portrayal of the eldest son in a well-to-do, loving African-American family became an iconic part of American culture throughout the show's 8-season run. That early role showcased his maturity, warmth, and ease in front of the camera. He delivered memorable episodes, debating life choices with his father, struggling with school, exploring teenage identity, and earned an Emmy nomination in 1986. As the show ended in 1992, morale and practical concerns guided him to grow beyond the character of Theo. He rejected the fear of being typecast, saying he refused to become a "where are they now" kid. Instead, he embraced new challenges, exploring music, poetry, directing, and roles in other TV series and films. In the mid-1990s, Warner transitioned into roles like Malcolm McGee in Malcolm and Eddie, where he starred opposite Eddie Griffin. The role allowed him to shed the label of teenage actor and step into comedic adulthood. As that series ended in 2000, he continued to diversify his body of work, voicing a beloved character on the Magic School Bus, guest starring on dramas like Touched by an Angel, moving into medical drama with The Resident, and even dramatizing real-life figures like Al Cowlings on American Crime Story. Along the way, he also earned a Grammy in 2015 for his musical collaboration, adding another creative outlet to his multifaceted career. Behind the scenes, Warner expanded into directing television, music videos, and even stage performances. He was a poet who performed at the National Black Theater Festival and later became recognized with a Grammy nomination for his spoken word. By the early 2000s and 20s, he'd reinvented himself once again, launching Not All Hood, a podcast dedicated to exploring the diversity of Black experiences in America. The podcast gave him the space to speak publicly, less as an actor than as a thoughtful observer and cultural voice, engaging in nuanced discussions around identity and representation. Through every pivot, from child star to sitcom lead, musician to podcaster, he never lost sight of what The Cosby Show had meant. His portrayal of Theo Huxtable gave pride and visibility to Black families on TV. In interviews, he reflected on how the show helped affirm middle-class Black America to the world, even as its legacy became complicated by controversies surrounding Bill Cosby. Malcolm-Jamal maintained that the show's impact transcended any personal misconduct, but he said he also deeply felt the sting when its legacy became tarnished. On July 20th, 2025, while vacationing with family on Costa Rica's Caribbean coast, Malcolm-Jamal Warner drowned at the age of 54. He was swept out by a strong rip current at a beach in Limon Province. Bystanders pulled him from the water and applied CPR with assistance from Costa Rica's Red Cross, but he did not survive. The official cause of death was ruled asphyxia due to submersion, and his passing left fans and peers around the world in shock. Bill Cosby, who played his on-screen father, expressed profound grief, saying Warner's death felt to him like the murder of his own son Ennis decades earlier. Cosby shared that Malcolm-Jamal had remained close over the years, even visiting Cosby's family home and performing together in musical settings. Their bond had grown beyond fictional roles to something deep and familial. After this tragedy, tributes flooded in. Viola Davis, a co-star on Read Between the Lines, called Warner warm, gentle, present, kind, thoughtful, deep, funny, elegant, saying he had made the world brighter. Eddie Griffin, his co-star from Malcolm and Eddie, praised him as a brother, teacher, warrior, and friend. When Malcolm-Jamal directed or shared poetic inspiration, younger colleagues recall how he seemed driven by joy and responsibility. His daughter and wife, kept private during his life, became central to his personal story and death. Music he recorded and poetry he performed found new resonance among fans, especially a recording of Jesus' Children that won him a Grammy. The podcast he hosted gained renewed attention for its vulnerability and nuanced cultural reflections. Elements of his artistry became remembrances of a life lived with creativity and conscience. His career spanned more than 40 years. He starred in more than 190 episodes of The Cosby Show, and over time became an actor, director, poet, musician, and cultural commentator. His roles in Suits, Major Crimes, The Resident, and American Crime Story demonstrated a measured evolution from sitcom kid to seasoned leading man. His creative ventures balanced the glamour of early success with steady reinvention. By choosing not to publicize his family's names, Warner protected their privacy even as he navigated the delicate balance of celebrity and personal life. Regardless, behind closed doors, he was a father to a daughter and a husband, roles he cherished while building a renewed creative legacy. His death brought mourning not only across the entertainment industry, but also among everyday people who felt connected to him through decades of television loyalty. Even ripples of his death reached Costa Rican tourism, prompting warnings about water safety. The beach where he drowned, known for dangerous currents, had been frequented by tourists, some of whom now shared stories of nearly drowning themselves. Warner's death became a tragic reminder of how easily unforgiving nature can be. Reflecting on his life, one sees a man of rare adaptability, never content to rest on early success, and always seeking to use his platform to speak, to elevate, to teach. He refused to disappear, instead choosing to remain visible and relevant, not through gossip, but by reinventing himself as an artist, activist, and public voice. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death leaves a profound void, but his legacy remains. The Huxtable family he helped create changed TV. The characters and stories he brought to life across genres demonstrated range and depth. His music, his directing, his poetry, his podcasts, all formed part of a portrait of a man determined to engage meaningfully with the world. His passing poses hard questions. How do we remember someone who's journeyed from childhood fame to creative authority? How do we hold the richness of his artistry alongside the complexity of his generational context? But for many, the answer is simple. We remember with gratitude. We valorize his ability to stay curious, to stay humble, and to keep contributing. A tree will be planted, episodes will be dedicated, awards and posts honoring him will follow. But beyond formal memorials, his biggest legacy may be kept alive by those who saw themselves in Theo, or heard his words and felt empowered. Warner once said he resisted fleeting fame. I think he succeeded. He wanted to be remembered for work that resonated, and he was. In the end, Malcolm-Jamal Warner leaves us with a life of intention, compassion, reinvention, and dignity. His departure was tragic and sudden, but his life's work remains vibrant, continuing to touch lives through screens, music, words, and warmth. A generation of children knew him as the beloved kid on The Cosby Show, and an even broader generation came to know him as a thoughtful artist and cultural voice worthy of both admiration and memory.